Good evening and welcome to Seasonal Wire, the platform where we speak truth to power. There's a breaking news happened more or less 36 minutes ago. In the court case between Tinubu and Atiku, the courts in the US have ruled in favor of Atiku against Tinubu, meaning that they will provide the records, the academic records of President Tinubu, make it available to. He has to make it available to Tinubu and to Atiku. Um, and there's no other way out of that situation. And it's going to be done. They've given a timeline, a deadline of by the 3rd of October. So we know there's something happening on the 5th of October in Nigeria. So this could have ramifications. I don't know the ins and out of it. I don't think it would change anything in terms of the presidency myself. Personally, I don't think so. But that information nonetheless being out there, what are your thoughts on it? Can it make a change? Can it compare? Will it change anything? Do you think it will change anything? Either way, the information that's going to be out there. I'm just being an observer. Either way, it doesn't really make a difference. For me, the fundamental issue is actually goes way beyond the shores of Nigeria. Is actually about the whole of the African continent and how we need to come together as one and begin to actually have things like one security, one currency, one, everything to protect the entire African continent. Because the way we've been divided up into different countries has made it easier for the continents to keep us divided and thereby oppress and suppress us and extract our resources at dirt cheap prices. I'm just giving you a quick synopsis of my thought process. So, but let us listen to what the judgment of the court was. This is from Arise News. Let's have a listen.
A district court judge in the United States has ordered Chicago State University to grant a former vice president of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, access to the academic records of President Bola Tinubu as requested. In the court's accompanying memorandum opinion and order, Justice Nancy Maldonado overruled President Tinubu's objections to the release of the document and adopted in full the recommendations of an earlier judgment on the matter. The court therefore granted Atiku's application. In reaching this conclusion, the court emphasized that it is expressing no view on the merits of Atiku's underlying claims regarding President Tinubu or his graduation from CSU, or on the validity of the Nigerian election, nor is the court taking any position on what any of the documents or testimony from CSU may or may not ultimately show. Judge Maldonado ordered Chicago State University's corporate designee to be completed by 5 p.m. on Tuesday, October 3rd, in view of Supreme Court of Nigeria's deadline for filing, which is fixed for October 5th. The court stated that it will not extend the deadlines. It also cautioned Tinubu that any request for a stay before the court will be denied. All right, yes, will be denied. That's...
So, that's just the court judgment they read out in its entirety. Now they're going to have some discussions around that issue and its ramifications, and that's where you can also play your part. As you're watching, what are your thoughts? Will this make any change to the presidency? Is this something that should be of concern to us as citizens collectively? What's your take on it? To be honest, I think one of the central issues for me has always been and remains that of the Constitution of Nigeria being flawed, and the fact that we, the people, we haven't exercised our powers within that Constitution because that knowledge has been kept from all of us for over 24 years, for as long as we've had that 1999 Constitution in effect. I like to really re-emphasize the need for us to know those rights within the Constitution. Section 14.2a, sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this Constitution, derives all its powers and authority. 14.2a. 14.2c, the participation by the people in the government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution. Now, I think the more important thing is how to awaken we, the people, collectively, to begin to exercise our powers of sovereignty. That way, we can decide what happens in our governance rather than waiting for things that are being decided outside to now form the basis of any decision that's been made, either within the government or outside of the government. It requires our active participation. That's what I'm saying in effect. Let me just bring that section up. 1 second, please. 1 sec. Yes. So what I wanted to just show you was we have translated the Constitution of Nigeria, at least this section of it, 14.2 and 14.2c, into 4 different languages, 3, and then of course the 4th one being Pidgin. So we really want you to really take note of that. It's very, very important. So I just want to just state that going forward, we need these powers. We need to begin to use it in our nation. We have not used it in 24 years. The time to use it starts now. So I'm going to read it to you on the screen. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through its constitution, derives all its powers and authority. That's the power you and I possess. We need to begin to use that. So I think if we can focus on that, whatever they're doing in the courts, inside or outside of the country, doesn't matter. What we, the people, as sovereigns do is what is important, and how we can begin to hold those who elect into office to account. That is of immense importance. And of course, it talks about 14.2c. The participation by the people in their government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. That means that within the constitution, there's a provision for us as sovereigns to hold those who elect into office to account through our active participation as mandated under section 14.2c of this constitution. So that's really important for us to begin to use. And of course, we've translated that into Yoruba in on screen. You can see there. I'll read that to you. Ìjọba jẹ́ ti àwọn ènìyàn Nàìjíríà láti ọ̀dọ̀ ẹni tí ìjọba nípasẹ̀ òfin orílẹ̀-èdè ìgbàgbọ́gbàgbàrà àti àṣẹ rẹ̀. So again, it's translating what is here in section 42A in English into Yoruba. Again, 14.2c talks about ìkópa àwọn ènìyàn nínú ìjọba wọn gbọ́dọ̀ rí dájú ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àwọn òfin orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Again, translation of the constitution from English into Yoruba. And then you have it in Igbo, and we have it in, I think, Igbo and Hausa. Forgive me, I see now that I've done it Igbo. It's actually Igbo and Hausa that should be there. But don't worry, we will change that. But that gives you an idea of what we were trying to do there. So let's pull that away. That's where we need to focus on. But before, I just wanted to give that context so we know what's going on. And our reluctance to participate in our governance, or our unawareness, of and lack of knowledge of the powers we possess in the constitution has actually done us harm collectively, and we need to address that. So in that context, well, just put that at the back of our mind, if you like, as something that is really important for us to focus on, rather than this is just something, a sideshow in many respects. But let's see what happens.
Covering this story in detail, back to back, and we've seen some reports, some headlines are reporting Atiku wins again in court. I mean, this was, bound to happen, because obviously you would file your petition, there will be a response. If you recall, Tinubu had at one point filed a response to Atiku's petition, saying that he was only going on a fishing expedition, and that, what Atiku was requesting was not going to be used in Nigeria, but for his own purposes.
Absolutely.
But now we see that the judge has overruled and has, deemed it fit that Atiku has the right to access Tinubu's certificate. Tinubu had at one point said that it was just his diploma that he wanted released and not everything. So we'll see the end of this.
I think Judge Maldonado is very emphatic about, the position that she has taken. And is for the Chicago State University to release, as requested by Atiku's lawyers, the documents, the certificates, and everything that they have asked for to be released by the 5th of October. But there was also a caveat there that he was giving that judgment without any bias or prejudice to the content or the expected or likely outcome or the merits of Atiku's prayers in court.
So just out of interest, you can see on the screen Nigeria at 63. Would you consider that a happy Independence Day Is there anything happy about this situation that we have in Nigeria right now? Yes, granted, the government is trying to do a few things, and they're trying to do palliatives and pay payments of some workers. There are efforts tinkering around the edges, but the central issues still remain unresolved. We continue to ask for Operation Fix the 4 oil refineries. That is of immense importance. But what do you think of this case here? What impact is it likely to have on the political scene? Does that make a difference in your life? Who is in power now? Will either Peter Obi or Atiku being in power, hypothetically, of course, this is all hypothetical, will it make a difference in your life? Will the price of your bag of rice, which is now 45,000 naira per bag, will that drop all of a sudden? Would that make a really change, or is it you actually participating in your governance that is of immense importance now? And as we are trying to teach and remind all of us via the constitutional work that we're doing here, raising the awareness about the powers of sovereignty. Sovereignty belongs to people in Nigeria, from whom the government, through its constitution, has all its powers and authority. And of course, that power is used via active participation. The participation by the people in the government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. Is that of more importance than this? How do you see it? Let's hear your views. You, of course, watch Season AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. And of course, we now, and the breaking news, of course, is that the courts in the U.S. court rules in favor of Atiku against Tinubu over the academic records. So, anyway, let's see what happens. I don't expect that to have any much change on what's going on. I think our governance is still going to be, unfortunately, the suffering of the people will not be removed, will not be reduced, and that's where we need to focus. We must participate in our governance. Our active participation will ensure that we begin to hold those we elect into office to account, and I think that's where we need to focus. But in the meantime, what are your thoughts on this? And of course, look on the screen. A reminder: every 1 naira is only worth 0.0013 of a dollar, not even up to 1 cent. So our naira is worthless. These are reasons why you need to begin to participate in your governance. Hold them to account. Don't be a bystander. Don't allow the Bible and the Quran to be used to bamboozle you and close your eyes to what is happening to you, what is really oppressing you. The failure of governance, the lack of accountability, and it is through your participating in your governance that you can hold them to account, ensure that what you want those funds that is allocated to your local government area to be used on is what it will be used on. You have the power as a sovereign to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Season AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Nigeria 63, for me, I won't call it a happy Independence Day because a lot of people are suffering. I'm not saying that to this is a systemic failure. This is not about one government. This is a systemic failure. The entire thing has failed from beginning to the end. But anyway, what are your thoughts? Let's hear from you. You are, of course, watching Season AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Before I go, I urge you to do something for us. Subscribe to Season AY, hit the notification button, give us a thumbs up, help us reach more people, and share the broadcast. And finally, leave a comment. We appreciate you leaving a comment. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back shortly. Thank you, and bye for now.